Welcome to week 6. You did it. You rock.
Woohoo!
You've been working on yourself for 5.5 weeks, 6 weeks, and depending on when you got here, it might actually be longer than that. And we are so proud of you because this topic, reprogramming your primitive brain, is really core and it digs deeper than most programs out there. It's letting you change who you are at a really fundamental and loving level. And we haven't seen anything out there like this. That's why we created this, because we want to help you live the kind of life that you always dreamed was possible. And as long as you were fighting yourself, it just wasn't going to happen. You'd spend too much energy fighting and struggling
Mm.
and being worn out along the way. And by tuning into yourself and learning about yourself at this level, you may not have it all cleared out. Very few people have everything cleared out in 6 weeks, but you have the skills and the understanding to keep working and keep clearing. Rick and I honestly still work on ourselves. We tap with each other, we tap with other people. We're still clearing things that come up. As you keep expanding your world and stepping outside of the comfort zones that you used to have, you're going to run into new things. You're going to encounter new resistances and new fears. The really cool thing is you're going to be better and better at clearing them. And when you run into them and be like, oh, that's what's happening. I can clear this. I can ask a friend for support, or I can tap, or I can go back to the primitive brain program and go through the audios that will help me with it. And you're just going to have a different way of looking at life that's so much more fun and so exciting.
Just the difference in not viewing yourself as having this defective part that needs to be fixed, and instead having a relationship with every aspect of you. That changes how others will perceive you as well. I know that one of the challenges that each person starts with in life is that if I've got something going on that doesn't make me happy, then there must be something broken. There must be something wrong. And the work that we're doing fundamentally changes that from being something to fix versus something to lovingly engage with compassion, attention, curiosity. And that changes the way that you're responding to everything that comes in your direction. The primitive brain feels how others are reacting to you. And if you're not perceiving it as rejection, you're perceiving it as a filter or an attraction that you can engage with because you know that you have brakes on your car. You have good boundaries. And we're going to be talking about that this week. We're going to be giving you a sense of how you can be fully alive and in your body and feel those energies and have the grace and confidence and expansion to be able to use them in ways that are deeply pleasing to you.
Mm. Yeah, I am still amazed daily by how much my life has changed. I went from someone who really didn't go out socially, maybe once a month, and I was overwhelmed after an hour, to someone who's flying across the country, talking at national conventions, and just really enjoying my life. I live so much more richly than I ever imagined was possible. So we're just really excited about where you are and what's in store for you. We want to remind you, and we go into this in one of the audios, to keep taking those baby steps as you move forward.
Mm.
They're really important, not just because they help you move forward when you might just get stopped otherwise, but they help you break the freeze response. The freeze response is very powerful, and
It
most
is.
most people in our society are so conditioned to it that it just locks us in place. If you can break whatever action you want to take down to the smallest step, that's eventually you find a step that's possible. If you take just that little step, you're starting to break the ice. You help the primitive brain see, oh, I moved and nothing ate me. Maybe I can take another step. So that's another programming from the outside in kind of thing, where even if it feels awkward, take that little baby step.
You can even take the step of looking at what you think that you want to do and stomping your feet and saying, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want, no, 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 no. And that baby step, you don't get to do that when you're frozen.
No.
You're getting some energy into your life around that specific thing. So instead of bouncing off of it, you're engaging in one small step. And yeah, the hamster's going to be going, oh, that what's the difference? Why even bother? Because it's trying to keep you from feeling all those feelings. But guess what? You know how to deal with disappointment now. You've been exposed to some of the losses in your life and you've tapped on them. You've engaged with them and you've learned how to let those go. And if you need to go back and review, awesome. They're still going to be there so that you can have this as a resource so that you can continue to use it to become more resilient, to become stronger in the things that come up as part of being a human being. Those small steps, though, wow, what a difference maker the 2 minute action can be because it'll
Yes.
give you the clarity if there's a parking brake on and it will get your energy moving if you're now ready to move
Right.
forward.
Just make sure it includes some kind of physical action. It's not just planning in your head.
That's right.
It has to be actually like whether it's you pick up a piece of paper or stomp your feet, actually do something physical because that helps with the reprogramming from the outside in.
Exactly.
We're also talking this week about separating your emotions. A lot of times when we feel stuck and overwhelmed, we have kind of a log jam and we have too many emotions going on at once. So if you can kind of pull your emotions apart and work on them one at a time, that can give you some momentum and help you get the stream flowing again.
Hmm.
So if you're feeling anger and intense grief and disappointment and they're all mixed together, choose one. It's not that you're not going to work on the others. It's not that the others aren't valid, but just pick one for now and tap on that and clear that. And once you clear that out, there'll be less trying to flow through the pipe and you'll have more movement.
Hmm. Um, we talk about disappointment again and how
Discouragement
discouragement and how parts of your hamsters may be saying, "Oh, this isn't enough," and everything else, and
is not going to
it's
work.
not going to work. Do that tapping. It'll
Yeah.
strengthen your sense of a potential, and it'll even expand the edges of that. Because I find that as I take the lid off of the discouragement that's trying to keep me safe, well, then you can see the stars. With that lid on it, you're not going to see much other than, oh, yeah, it's just what the, up, oh, yeah, there it is, just, yeah, up. No, now you get to take the lid off and see what potential you want to express in the world.
Yeah. And we have a secret for you, something that a lot of people don't know. That when those hamsters start going really loud about how this is never going to work and this isn't possible and how can tapping clear all of this or it can't possibly be enough,
Mm.
that's when you're getting close to the breakthrough because they don't squeak that loud unless they're afraid you're going to get somewhere.
Hmm. And guess what? They also don't always tell the truth. Ah.
Yeah, they're doing their best to protect you. They're not evil, but
Yeah.
they are very scared and they'll do whatever they think they need to do to keep you small and hidden away.
And and we play smaller because we got used to being rejected when we went out to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
One of my teachers says it's never crowded on the leading edge.
Oh,
Why? Because when you start heading out to the leading edge, they go, "You're going to fall off the end of the earth." Right. Their earth, their world is more contained. And as you do the tapping on the rejection and the acceptance, and you start really putting that into context, that you're no longer part of a tribe of 30 that has to be cohesive in order for everyone not to die, but instead you're part of a global phenomenon where you can tune in and tap into the energies that are yummy, right, engaging, activating for you, and that you are yummy, engaging, and activating for them. And those those people, those energies are in a surprising number of places if you're not really morphing yourself to try to fit in with a group that isn't your tribe. They're not drawing from you the things that you really want to feel drawn from you.
yeah. That ability to be unique is so powerful. And we really want that for you because when you're being who you are, you're feeding back. There's actual feedback to your system saying, I'm acceptable. I'm letting people see the real me. Or I'm
Mm.
kind of nervous. I'm not sure what they'll think, but I'm accepting me and I'm letting me out.
Yeah.
And that means when someone says something nice, it gets to land. Because when I'm pretending to be someone else and someone says something nice, all it means is I'm a pretty good actress. It doesn't mean anything about who I am as a person. So the more you can be the unique and real you in this society, the more the people that you want to spend time with are going to go, oh, she's really bright. She's a nice bright light. I want to spend time with her. So keep doing that in spite of the limiting beliefs that are probably coming up around that. Just like we talked about with the hamsters saying, it's not safe, it's never going to work. The hamsters, there's other hamsters that say, you're not smart enough, you're not lovable enough, you don't deserve this. Again, they get louder the closer you are to a breakthrough. They get louder when you're doing something new and powerful. So take them instead of as a sign that there's something wrong and that you shouldn't move forward,
Mm.
take that as a sign as you're actually doing something really powerful and good and that they're scared. You can send them some comfort
Yeah.
and you don't have to believe them.
And I invite you to try something really weird. And that is, if you're feeling awkward, tell somebody. You know, I'm feeling really awkward today. I've done this before, but I'm feeling like a complete newbie. And the amazing thing is that when I've done this,
People respond so beautifully.
don't they? And it activates a different part of them. And I can imagine, I can fantasize that some people would be like, "Oh, you're feeling awkward." Well, I'm not really in the mood for awkward. But for me, if someone says that I'm being awkward, well, now I've got compassion. Oh, I've been there before. And if I have something to share and teach or a way to make it more comfortable for them, guess what? That's active in me. If they're pretending that they know it all or that they're comfortable, I can tell that they're pretending, but
Mm.
I don't want to pierce that veil. If they invite me to acknowledge, yeah, this is an awkward thing that we're about to do, wonderful, because now I can be fully present with my awareness. I mean, you all, I'm sure, are sensitive souls who can pick up when someone is pretending and when they're not. By inviting other people to see where you actually are, what a door opens. And you
Mm.
meet people on a level that you may have never met them before. And that's where this work starts to really bear fruit. These are the berries. These are the yummy fruit of that comes from doing this work, is that you can say, you know, I feel really awkward. And you're not freaking out. You know that there's no rejection in that. It's truth. It's where you
Yes.
are. And not
Yeah.
where you're going to stay, but it's where you are.
Well, and two, people that are energetically sensitive can pick up that someone's being inauthentic. So
Yes.
if you're pretending you don't feel awkward, they know something's up. They may not know exactly what's wrong, but they're like, oh, that person doesn't feel aligned. I don't know that I want to spend time with them. Whereas when you share, I feel awkward, the other person goes, oh my God, thank God, me too. I get to,
Hmm.
it builds such beautiful intimacy. So we encourage you to try it.
We're going to be doing perfectionism, which is, I'm a fully recovered perfectionist. And but I will tell you that the first times that I started saying I don't know as the answer to a question was a real breakthrough. And if I had
Yeah.
had tapping, I would have practiced that. I don't know. And then what did I want to say is what I say now. I don't know, but I'm really curious about the answer. And
Yeah.
when you can go from to that authentic place because you're no longer worried in your gut, in your groin, your genitals don't like, oh, I don't know the answer. Everyone knows that you don't know the answer. They know when you're faking it. And the good news is if you can really be authentic, I don't know, but I'm really curious what the answer is.
I'm drawing a blank right this minute. I think I know this, but let me think about it for a minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a very different way of being. So if perfectionism is your thing, do the tapping, listen to that one as well.
Yes. One of the things that is so powerful about this course is that your primitive brain is most interested in survival.
Hmm.
And we can help it reprogram and expand and be interested in thriving, but it's interested in survival. And when it sees that what you're doing gives you more power
Hmm.
and more ability in the world, it gets behind you. and it starts giving you energy and impetus that you would never have, that you couldn't generate on your own. And I'm reminded of a story. Several years ago, they did these studies on rats, and they traumatized a bunch of rats, and they had some rats that weren't traumatized, and they watched the rats. They put them in new environments, and the rats that were traumatized, that hadn't recovered, that were still traumatized, were scared to explore. They were scared to play and try new things. So they had that very small world, just like we talked about, where they tried to stay in the safe zone, but they couldn't find new sources of food and nourishment. They'd never played. They
Mm.
never explored.
Yeah.
And the rats that had never been traumatized, they would just go out and they're like, okay, I'm being careful. There might be a cat out here, but oh, I smell some really yummy food. I'm going to go test it out. And they would play and explore, and they were willing to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And their primitive brains were like, okay, we get to explore, we get to push the zones of what's comfortable, because that in the long run helps us survive and thrive. And human beings have pushed the comfort zones over thousands of years. We wouldn't have cars and internet. We wouldn't be able to reach you this way. We'd be able to reach the 4 or 5 people in our tribe with whatever information we had. We wouldn't be able to gather it from all over the world
Mm.
and all different classes and bring it to this round. There's 200 of you in here, and we're reaching you and able to share that. So because people have been willing to step outside their comfort zones, we have an abundance we've never had. And that same thing applies to you. By reprogramming and allowing yourself to play and explore and stretch yourself and build a different relationship with yourself, you're allowing yourself to have more abundance. You have access to things you would have never explored before. And you can bring in financial abundance, romantic abundance, health and well being, whatever it is you're searching for. You have the ability now to go out and get it because your parking brake isn't on. You're not stuck in a tug of war. And you have the energy that would normally be diverted to that or to being very small and contained. You now can use that energy with the energy of your primitive brain. You're turning both of you and you're aligning in that and you're congruent. You can go out and you'll have hamsters sometimes,
Yes.
but you will be able to create a world that you adore living in, that you can't wait to wake up in the morning and get out of there and start playing in.
Awesome. Anything else?
We're just super proud of you. You guys, the last audio is kind of pulling it together and giving you some encouragement. We love what you're doing in the world, and we are so honored and proud to have walked this way with you. And we can't wait to see what difference you make in your own life and the lives of all those around you. Thank you for trusting us and for being with us on this journey.
Thank you so much.